we go, right there. All right, fellas, we got some very important people in the house today. We got the homeboy Cavario, the Mind Plug, in here. We got AJ and SJ in here, who are not just the hosts of the Connected Experience podcast, but they're editors for thisandbull.com. And today, you know what I hit y'all fellas up to talk about. Today, some crazy stuff just happened. Alpo got knocked down. Any thoughts on that?
I mean,
well, Cavario said we ain't hear you, brother. What you say?
Definitely not a surprise.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said it ain't a surprise when you play on that type of field. There's no telling you go get when the tackle will come. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a lot of people celebrating to do with that, and I think they shouldn't celebrate that only because the movie Paid in Full made things look a certain way, and we don't know that to be the absolute truth. So how people picking sides who don't got nothing to do with that, I feel like they should let Harlem business be Harlem business. Of course, you can have an opinion on it, but let Harlem business be Harlem business. Like the story happened in Harlem, that part of the story ended in Harlem. Put a cap on it.
That's a very good point. Social media has given inroads to people who would otherwise not have any idea that that world existed to the degree that it exists. Certainly not particular names that were really local names. You know what I'm saying? Like, social media has given people the feeling that they've watched enough documentaries or interviews or commentaries that they now have enough insight to be able to compose some type of a valid perspective. And it's like back in the days when people would look at the TV show or the movie and be like, don't go in there, the killer's in there, he gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? So the internet has broken that wall and has given people who have nothing to do with what's going on the opposite side of that screen the opportunity to interject themselves and be a part of that reality.
That's 100% true. That's 100% true. I know that you're going to, like, for example, we interviewed Sammy the Bull on the Gangster Chronicles, and we had 1 million people with different opinions. Why y'all interviewing that snitch, or why y'all interviewing that? And it's kind of like, dude, you are not qualified to call this guy who don't knock down, who has knocked down a whole bunch of people in his lifetime. You don't really. You're not a part of the underworld to be calling this man, to be degrading this man's name. And I feel the same way kind of about Alpo, because all the people that got opinions would never say that to him in person, in the flesh. They would probably ask him for autographs. What you say, brother?
That's the wonderful thing about the internet. People who would otherwise not whisper in the wind can now hide behind a pseudonym and a camera or a keyboard and speak in places and times where they would never, ever, ever be able to whisper. You know what I mean? So it's like sucker's paradise in these days and times. It's sucker's paradise when they get to actually have some kind of voice, and they don't even realize that the only people who are responding to their opinions in these spaces are other people like them. They think they're talking to someone who's at a level in that environment or in relation to that environment that they are validated. So when these random people are making these comments about things they got no understanding of, they think that they're talking to people who are plugged, but they're talking to other people just like them. People like us, if we even interject into those situations, we jump in, but we jump out. And then it just rolls on. It's just a bunch of civilians and nerds and shit just going back and forth, and they're creating their own narrative that the larger public, if it is a situation that attracts that much attention, that larger public then comes in on. They're going to be people, believe it or not, there are millions of people who have no idea who Alpo is, never heard of him, never saw the movie Paid in Full, never heard of Alpo, nothing. People. Right?
Yeah.
Because of this and this mainstream media that is, it happened here, it happened in New York, it does have the history in New York that it has. So mainstream media, at least local mainstream media, is going to do what it can to commodify the situation, because that's what they do, right? So now a bunch of people who've never heard anything about Alpo, Painful, Rich Porter, none of this shit, they're going to now tune into it, and most of what they will be feeding off of and building their opinions and perspectives off of is going to be built based upon the nonsensical, irrelevant banter and opinionation and commentary of a bunch of people who have nothing to do with this life at all.
Exactly.
Not
Exactly.
even,
Fucking hysterical, y'all.
not even
Right,
nothing
and
to do with this life, but nothing to do with that particular situation. Like,
No, absolutely, deeper. Nothing to do with this life, and definitely nothing to do with this particular situation within this life. Like,
right, and people just need to distinguish the difference in Rico and Alpo, because them two different people, and all of the people with opinions love Cameron for being Rico, so they think they know about Alpo, and they need to get that out of their head. You don't know nothing about this character, so being
that's a
happy he
fact.
got murdered or being sad he got murdered in UA in Iowa or somewhere, and you thinking Rico got murdered, like they just need to know that it's a real difference between those two individuals and to leave it at that.
Yeah, most people don't have the ability to. I'm talking about, the public, American public. They don't have the ability to distinguish much beyond their left foot and their right foot, realistically. So being like, people were given Cam, like the business and giving, popping shit at him and all that, whatever, for playing Rico, bro, for playing this character. So if they can't distinguish a rapper acting as a character from the character, then they certainly can't distinguish the real person from the character that the rapper was acting like or acting as. You know what I mean? It's like they don't have wherewithal. It doesn't make sense. That's why I don't see why people comment, like people, especially people who are supposed to be people who have insight. Like, you'd never find me commenting on the comments made by non-combatants who've never participated in any of the activities that have led up to the things that we're talking about and around a lifestyle like Pose. Like, I would never. For what? Like, for what? That'd be validating it. That's like talking to a drunk person like they're sober, and you're sober.
And the truth of the matter is that this situation with him being murdered definitely is no guarantee that it has anything to do with anything that people think they know him from.
That's right. That's a fucking fact. That's a fact,
Yeah.
man. It's like it could be very well something that he's done within the last 6 months.
Or yesterday. It could have been something he did yesterday, because people are still out here.
It could have been something he had just done. I mean, in the environment, I'm from Harlem. I'm from this place, right? I'm here right now. And all my life, I'll be 54 next Sunday, bro. All my life, I've been in this all my life. I have seen people go into, and this is one of the reasons why I never gambled. I used to see people who I knew were close and connected and getting money together and grew up together. And they start playing with them dice and be stabbing each other and shooting each other and all type of shit. So it wouldn't be nothing for him to have been in some after hours, which he was in after hours, because that's what's around there. 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. And for something to have happened in that instant, be like, man, I'm tired of this nigga. This nigga will terrorize me, or whatever the fuck it is people's perception of him is.